It started out with the calls for me when I was really young, going hunting with Dad. You know, when I was really young, we always went deer hunting. And then I got a little bit older, and we started going duck hunting. And he's like, here, he gave me a few duck calls and gave me a DVD. It was a Primos DVD. He's like, watch this. Well, it was probably VHS then.
Right.
But he's like, watch this, try and get this figured out. And so I got the calls figured out, what I thought I had figured out. And we'd go hunting, and I'd blow the calls, and then we go back to deer hunting, and we sit in a tree stand, and I'm like, I just want to go blow the duck calls. And so that was kind of always, that's where I started, was, I love the duck calls. And then I've always been into collecting calls. I've had, before I started making calls, I had a huge collection of calls. It was just kind of, the calling aspect has always been my thing. And then me and Chad always argue about this at shows when people ask, but I think it's been 5 years ago. We were all sitting in Chad's kitchen, and it was Sunday, and we're like, nobody wants to go to work tomorrow. We're going to
What do you do?
We're going to start a business.
What were you working?
I was working with Scott doing construction.
Okay. So you're swinging a hammer.
Yeah.
All right.
And it was Sunday, and we're like, everybody's like, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. What are we going to do? And, Chad had this crazy plan, and Nate had this crazy plan. And I was like, I'm going to order a lathe, and I'm going to start making turkey calls.
Had you made a turkey call?
Never.
Okay. So when did you get on Instagram? I don't know if you know this, but I looked up your very first Instagram post this morning.
Yeah.
Do you know when it was?
No.
April of 14.
Okay. That was what I thought was 14. And so in the kitchen that afternoon, I ordered a lathe from Harbor Freight, and I started doing some research, ordered all the things that I thought I needed, and a week later it showed up, and I'd watched dozens of hours of YouTube videos because you can learn to do anything on there.
Absolutely.
And started turning pots. I still have the very first one that I turned, and
You'd never made a call?
Never. Had no idea.
Any woodworking experience?
No. Not really.
Well, how much was the lathe?
Like $200.
Okay, so not huge, but
no.
You just at age 23,
probably, yeah.
You're throwing $200 at a lathe, and okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
So it came. I still have the very first pot that I turned. It was out of oak, which was not ideal. It was really hard to turn, hard to learn on. And so I set it up in Scott's garage and just started turning pots, and had dozens of them. And finally got one that was like, wow, this sounds like a turkey. This is great.
Yeah.
And I was, playing around with different finishes and different dimensions, because it's all about the internal dimensions of the pot. And got a size that I liked, and kind of took some notes and tried to duplicate it. And then Chad wanted one, and then Nate wanted one, and then this guy wanted one, and this guy wanted one, then that guy's buddy wanted one. And so I started an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and it kind of went from there.